Steven, what do you think's more Las Vegas? Derek Carr's Mohawk or Wayne Newton announcing a Raiders draft pick?
I'd say Wayne Newton announcing the draft pick, no doubt.
Okay. I'm asking you the same question I asked Alon last Friday because I want to get your opinion on it. Derek Carr's Mohawk, are you a fan? Yes or no?
No,
Yeah, I wasn't either. It
no,
was just
not
like,
at all.
dude, what's happened to you? And then he's in his white suit and the Mohawk looking like a Bond villain or like a, sleazy dude from Vegas. But
Well, the white suit, no problem. No problem on the white suit for me. The
yeah, but it
hair,
looked like he
though.
was about to pull out a tiger or something.
Yeah. No, there's always that holding period because you knew that the hair that he had last season, which was every time he'd take his helmet off, he'd look like 90s sitcom dad. He'd look like Steve Gutenberg as a
Or
quarterback,
me with long
like
hair when I had it.
straight police academy, where it's all slicked back and kind of like matted. But
Ooh,
what?
Gutenberg.
Yeah, exactly.
I love a
Gutenberg.
good Gutenberg reference.
But now it's just turned into like wannabe motorcycles. Like he looks like someone in a motorcycle gang who's like the son of the leader.
That's pretty accurate. So you haven't
Yeah.
seen the Wayne Newton thing.
No, I didn't, but I
Okay.
love that. I love that Wayne Newton's a part of it. He's one of my
Oh,
favorite parts
dude.
in Vegas Vacation, where he's just absolutely cuckolding Clark Griswold.
He looks like such like a wax museum.
He
First off,
does.
welcome everybody to Just Your Opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. If you saw what happened on Friday with all of the second round picks, third round picks, fourth round, fifth round, sixth round, seventh round, they had celebrities and ticket holders and other people that are associated with either the city or the teams announce the picks. And Wayne Newton coming out at 90 years old. I think he's 90. Whatever he's getting up there, but he's put together. He still looks like he's a young man, but he doesn't sound like it. So he came out sounding like, "Hello, Vegas, with the 61st pick or whatever it was, 91st pick, in the 22 draft, the Raiders take." And then Marcus Allen is there next to him. So he calls Marcus Allen to come over, and he goes, "We'll say it together. Come on, come over here." And Marcus doesn't say anything, and he just goes, "Dylan Parnham from Mississippi." Then Rich Eisen or Mike Greenberg then say, "It's Dylan Parnham from Memphis." He said it with such confidence in his voice, like it was John Travolta introducing a delicacy.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do, man. You gotta have the confidence.
But it was so wrong.
And quite frankly, it's way more than John Travolta. It's way more. But I'm laughing so hard at this.
Oh yeah, he looks like a wax figure.
Oh my gosh, looks like the Joker.
Yeah,
wow,
1960s Joker.
Yeah, no, I mean It sounds like he had more confidence in what John Travolta was saying, though. John Travolta did not have any confidence.
Oh no,
the wickedly talented.
That's what I was waiting for. The wickedly talented, one and only Dylan Parnham.
Yeah, terrible, man. What's a popular Wayne Newton song? Are we supposed to know one like off the top of our heads?
I more so know, like, is Wayne Newton the same vein as like Neil Diamond, like snazzy performers from Vegas from the 1950s or not 1950s but 1980s?
I'd say Neil Diamond was far more than that, though, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, the only thing I know about Neil Diamond is a few songs, but he was like a Vegas performer. And my favorite thing is always Saturday Night Live when Will Ferrell would play Neil Diamond. It's like, "Neil Diamond, you bet your balls it's Neil Diamond."
Yeah, Saving Silverman, the cover band, the Neil Diamond cover band. I'm all about it.
Yes. Oh God, Saving Silverman.
You know what's really funny is Ernie, our loyal listener, sends this, and then all of a sudden we have 0 viewers. He's like, "Wow, he really did go check out this video of Wayne Newton." He's like, "I'll be right back."
I'm surprised no one saw it. It was just hilarious to me, just the confidence in his voice. Just, "Hello, Vegas."
That's too good.
Anyway, how was your weekend, sir?
It's fantastic, man. Was in wine country, Paso Robles, it's called.
Are you more of a wine guy now?
No, I've never really been like. I've always kind of been a wine guy, but
Never been a wino?
what is it? What is it? What's the definition of a wine guy to you? Just somebody who drinks wine?
A wine guy is a guy that is forced to drink wine because his girlfriend wants him to drink wine now.
Mm. No, well, I'd suppose that I'm the wine guy. I've been a wine guy even prior. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I used to
Never,
drink it. Used to
never
drink it
dug
with
wine.
my mom when I was
All right.
living at home. Me and my mom share a glass on a Friday night. What up? You know?
I like it. You and your mom have a nice Jerry Buss, Mrs. Buss relationship if you've kept up with the show.
Yeah, yeah. And she swears at me all the time and is trying to steal my estate and all my team and all that.
Sell the money
selling them all.
back to your ex-wife.
Yeah, selling them all. But no, man, it was cool. We went over there and I had what I'm pretty sure is the best pizza I've ever had, which was
Really?
awesome. Yeah.
That's a bold statement, sir.
Oh, it's this place called Della's over there, and it's like fancy pizza. You know what I mean? It's not like
No.
sloppy pizza that we all have over here.
Like Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah, yeah. None of that. None of that. They didn't have like just the regular, pepperoni, the all meat combo, and all those types of things. They had a bunch of different ones, but it was the dough. The dough is what made it. Oh, unbelievable. So if you're ever in Paso Robles, Della's.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what made it the best pizza you ever had? Just the dough? Literally the dough?
The dough, the toppings, the mix of it, the taste of it, it was all just perfect. It really was. It was so soft. Oh, it was it was really good.
Soft pizza.
It was like in a wood, what does it call it? A wood fire grill or whatever.
Wood,
burning wood stove. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ernie, check it out. So
brick oven pizza is what you're referring to.
Yeah. It was really cool, man.
Okay. All right. Time. Would you say, just real quick, what's your definition of a pizza or what's the other term? Shit. Hold on. It's pizza or flatbread. Okay. So is flatbread a pizza?
No.
Okay, so what's the so what's your definition of a pizza and what's your definition of a flatbread?
Well, it's the dough, right? Because it's all about the pizza dough. Like there's a very specific type of dough, whereas flatbread, it's just the same type of pizza toppings, but on bread.
Okay, I guess that's the best explanation of what to say. But I often use shapes. Pizza is triangular, where flatbread's square. But you can have square pizza. I've seen it before, like in Detroit. That's how they do shit there.
Yeah. So that's wrong.
They're doing it wrong in Motown, baby. They're in their pizza all fucked up.
No, I think that's the biggest difference there. It's not like the whole is a hot dog a sandwich. This is like
hot dogs are not a sandwich.
Like this is legitimately like two things that are very different. Now the hot dog is a sandwich thing. Those things are two completely different things, and I don't know how you try and convince me otherwise. What's the other one? Like is a hot dog a sandwich? Oh, and is a one that always gets me. What's the difference between like a wrap and a burrito? And I guess you'd say the filling.
Yeah, the wrap is supposed to be healthy, like chicken Caesar, where a burrito has burrito-y things, Mexican-style food.
Yes. Yeah. So
solving all the food problems today.
Anytime you get into these arguments, you can always think that there's a difference between one or the other, even though they might be the same.
They might be the same, and we all have differences of opinion. Like whether or not Draymond Green should have been ejected from that game yesterday. Speaking of which, he is literally on the TV right now, TNT pregame for 76ers and Heat. This guy's making the rounds. He immediately puts out a podcast yesterday after the fact, and I love that. We'll talk about that. But Draymond, if he wants this story to go away, it's not going away because he keeps perpetuating it. I love it. Yeah. But also, this is his job now. He's part of TNT. So, yeah, he's literally on TV right now talking about it.
Yeah, this all just so happened in a time. It wasn't planned, Like, this it probably was going to be him on TNT today. Like, that was the idea when he was in Memphis. And, or maybe they asked him to come on anyway. But,
No. I mean, they had to get his opinion on this because he was just, slapping in Memphis.
Yeah. How funny was that? What was that?
slapping in Memphis instead of walking to Memphis. He's slapping in Memphis.
Okay, gotcha. New Elvis movie coming out, by the way. Looking forward to that one. Tom Hanks plays his manager.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
Draymond, my favorite thing though that was like the third thought that ran through my head after that ejection. I'm like, one, okay, what the fuck? Two, how are the Warriors going to win this game? If they do win this game, what's going to happen? And then three, oh man, is Draymond going to do a podcast? And sure enough, when the Volume posted that screenshot
Emergency
of him
pod.
in the exact same attire as he was in the tunnel with the glasses and the shirt and everything, he looks like he just went straight to the hotel room and started recording the podcast as soon as he got home. There was no lag. There was no lag in between time.
It looked like the hotel was walking distance from the stadium.
Yes,
the arena.
Exactly. And I love it. I don't want every player to do it because I don't want every player to have a podcast. I think Draymond's very unique.
You don't want to hear Jimmy Garoppolo's podcast?
Oh my God. That would.
Well, it kind of sucks, but hey, man, I'm just here. I'm going to put a positive smile on and hope for the best. Episode 1.
Yeah. Well, I love you guys. That's it. Oh, Jimmy, we love you too.
And then Derek Carr's podcast is, oh man, got myself a new haircut. About to be all Vegas.
I got myself a new haircut. You know what I mean? That's a new thing now. You know what I mean?
He says that now?
He said that after in the Adams presser. So that's my new car. You know what I mean?
Oh no, sir. Keep the oh man.
Oh man, you know what I mean?
That's my favorite part of the Derek Carr impression.
Oh man. That Devontae, yeah. Oh man, that white suit.
My best friend.
Oh man.
He's my best friend. Do you want to talk about the game first? Or do you want to talk about the ejection? Or do you want to encompass the two together?
I'd say let's go to the Draymond ejection first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ejection. It was in the second quarter, right before the half. Who was the player that he slapped or swiped at?
Brandon Clark.
I was going to say Jason Clark, the guy that plays Jerry West on Winning Time. So Brandon Clark. So everyone's seen the play. It looks like Draymond is going for the ball, but he hits him in the face, and then he proceeds to, what he says, help him up by grabbing his jersey. And it turned to an awkward moment where we're all waiting to see if this is a flagrant 1 or a flagrant 2. And I don't know if Draymond thought he was getting tossed out, but then he proceeds to pat himself on the head, get all crazy, jump around, yell at the fans. So was it a thing of he thought that he was going to stay in the game? He's like, yeah, fuck all you people. Oh, you know what? I need to get out of here. Fine. I'll just, I'll casually get out of here. Like I thought this was all part of the plan. Because that part was awkward to me. He was just like, yeah, come on. Yeah, you going to throw me out? Oh, shit, I've been thrown out. Okay, I'm going to slowly just get out of here.
I think he was doing it all as it was announced. I think he overheard it, and that's when he started high-fiving the teammates.
He was trying to get everybody hyped up. He was trying to be like, I'm out of this game, so you guys need to light a fire under your ass, and I'll do it for you right now.
I hated how it was explained. Like, the flagrant 2, when they said that it was a wind-up to his face, like, there was no wind-up. He had his hands up because he's trying to guard slow-mo Kyle Anderson. Like, that's what he was. I was watching Draymond on that entire possession because he was going one-on-one with Anderson, and it's like, this dude's fighting for the ball. He just picked his pocket, but unfortunate bounce went back to Anderson's hands, and Draymond's like diving on the ground. Then he gets back up, and I wanted to see what he was going to do next. Then he tries to go to play defense on Anderson, who was already double-teamed at the rim. Then he dumps it off to Clark on the other side. So Draymond tries to go after Clark with his hand already up, hits his face, and then pulls down the jersey and holds him up. I do think Draymond did enforce throwing him down, though. It's not like he was falling down. Like Draymond got that part wrong. Like, Draymond, you weren't just grabbing his shirt so you could hold him down. The reason that you had to hold him back up is because you pulled him down. So I didn't really get that part, but it shouldn't have been more than a flagrant 1. That's it. It shouldn't have been.
I agree with you. I think Draymond's not as innocent as he lets on, but that's how he plays defense. And yeah, there wasn't anything malicious, in my opinion, to throw him out of the game. And yeah, like going back to him getting thrown out of the finals, like, do you want your best players thrown out of games for ticky tack shit like that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Right.
And what did Brendan Clark say yesterday? Like, that's who he is, or that's the that's his
That's
rap
Draymond.
sheet. That's,
That's Draymond.
yeah, I mean, yes and no. Like, I do agree that it's a history thing of Draymond, where we know the history with him getting thrown out of the finals, all the texts, him kicking Steven Adams in the nuts. It's just how he is sometimes. He is really intense on defense, but I didn't think there was anything malicious for him to get thrown out of the game like that. That's not fun for basketball.
No, it's so stupid, and it sets like this precedent that like, hey, if this happens, then we're gonna throw you out, which it shouldn't. Like this is the playoffs, man. It's gonna be physical. It's gonna get rough from time to time. So I do think though, and what do you think? Do you think like his reputation played into it? Because if it did, then we got some real problems if reputation is a thing.
Well, yes and no. I think that yes, reputation played a little factor into it just because it's Draymond. But I'm not surprised that the NBA didn't rescind this today. Because if they did, that would also cause a shitstorm of people like, well, then you can't throw him out of a game like that. It's too late. It already happened. What I am worried about now is, Draymond does get techs, and that counts as 2 tech points. When you
Mhm.
get to 4, you're suspended.
Yep.
So Draymond's got to ease up a little bit. Draymond's always had the reputation thing. I feel like it's a balance with him of having very animated conversations with referees, which some referees are willing to have and some aren't. But then he goes overboard sometimes, like when he gets his point across saying that's a bullshit call, and then he'll keep saying that's a bullshit call, that's a bullshit call. And they're like, okay, Draymond, that's enough.
Yeah.
So I'm worried just going forward that that's how Draymond is. He is intense. That's what makes him so great defensively, but also it's a hindrance to your team if he's not playing.
Yeah.
Availability is the best ability.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I will say this. Draymond also has to know that. Like I listened to his podcast yesterday, and it was great to hear him say it himself and not have to do a post game presser. So listen to the podcast. It's very interesting. It sounds to me like Draymond at times has split personality disorder, where he's like in the moment just all amped up and angry and everything, and then he's like, Draymond, he's like talking to himself like, Draymond, don't you think that based on your reputation that they're going to throw you out of this game? And then he's like, now I think to myself, okay, so now I'm 2 points away from being thrown out of a game, being suspended for text, and that's something I do.
Yeah.
But doesn't he need to realize that? Like, he's talking like as if it's like a past narration thing, like, and little did I know that if I
Yeah.
kept this up, I would have been thrown out.
Well, that's partially what he talked about, right? The little birdie on his shoulder telling
I
him to
know.
not do what he was doing. But like that little birdie, I don't think that was a little birdie. I think that was Andre Iguodala and Kevon Looney that he was hearing.
Yeah, probably.
Like those guys looked so frustrated.
And
uh,
Andre has
that
been
he
the
was
voice of
dancing.
reason on the bench. Sorry to cut you out, but yeah, Andre's been the voice of reason, telling Clay, don't be in your head after the game. So while Andre's not playing right now with his neck, he is serving a purpose on the bench. But sorry, I was cutting you off there, Steven.
Yeah, no, and by the way, it's not technical fouls. Let's get it correct here on just your opinion, man, Derek. It's
Oh, sorry.
flagrant. It's the
Oh, my
flagrant
bad.
points.
Flagrant fouls,
Yeah.
correct. Sorry.
So if you get 4, then you're out, and that's
Yes,
what
my
happened in
bad.
2016. It wasn't just hey, yeah, they suspended him because of LeBron. No, they didn't suspend him for that. They suspended him because of previous flagrants, one of which was upgraded to 2 points with
Yeah.
the Steven Adams kick to the nuts.
An accumulation of flagrants.
Yes. So it needs 4 flagrant points, and I'm not gonna lie, man, that makes me nervous. That really does.
It makes me nervous too, and even Draymond acknowledged that. But he also said, Tim Kawakami asked him today, like, does that, creep into your head? And he's like, nope, I'm gonna keep playing the way I play. But here's my thing. I agree with Draymond, and I agree with everybody. It was bullshit what happened yesterday. But going back to the 2016 finals, I remember sitting in that press room when Draymond Green came to the table after losing game 7. And this is before I was stuck in the room with LeBron James and verbally said, I can't fucking deal with this. Draymond comes to the table and he was very soft spoken and he was humble and he was honest, saying, I can't put my team in a position like this again. I need to learn from my mistakes. And I think that was very moving at the time. And I think that was very honest. But also, I don't think he's shown that since. And, we could go back to him getting thrown out of the Charlotte game a year ago, and he's calmed it down a little bit. He knows when it's important not to get thrown out of games. The LeBron James thing was out of his control. That was LeBron baiting him, and it is what it is. But I also think that, as good of a player he is, he also needs to realize that some of his actions lead to these things. So while fair or not fair, he did get thrown out of the game yesterday, and that is going to be a detriment to your team going forward. So if he, gets another flagrant, 1, 2, it's going to be bad. So that's just something he needs to keep in mind going forward, that they have a real chance to win the NBA championship this season. And it hasn't been a problem before. So I think I'm probably going overboard here. But I just want you to stay calm. Please stay calm. You're a great defensive player. You don't need to swipe at people's faces, even though I don't think it was that big of a deal. But let's just calm down. We need you for and hopefully another series after this and another series after that.
Does it reset if he gets suspended?
Or is it just reset?
Or is it just like each flagrant from here on out, you get suspended one more game?
I feel like that's a question we ask every playoff run for the Warriors. I think the answer is yes.
If it resets, man, then just get the flagrant 2 out the way. You can get suspended for one of these games. You've earned that luxury with your team winning game 1.
I don't know about that, Steven.
Hurry up and get another flagrant 2.
No,
and then,
stop it.
Dude, it's not good. It's not. But I wonder, man. I wonder if that podcast had anything to do with them not reducing it. Like,
I don't know about that.
I mean, they're not going to admit it, but the dude just literally went on there and trashed the refs when you're not supposed to speak. There's a reason you're not supposed to speak at press conferences after an ejection. Like there's a reason you're not supposed to, because that player will do nothing but trash the refs. And he wasn't like, he wasn't directing it at anybody. He wasn't, like saying like, this dude's terrible, this dude, blah, blah, blah. He was saying in the nicest way possible that he just doesn't understand why he got the tech, and he thinks that his reputation had something to do with it. I do think that recording a podcast and going out there and just spilling all of it, I think that played into it, even though you might not think it does. I think it personally does.
I just don't think the NBA wants to look bad after doing that a day ago. No. So they're not going to admit their mistakes. And even Steve Javy during the moment said, "Yeah, this is a flagrant 2." So they're gonna hold up the letter of the law. I think he did.
Pretty sure he said it was a flagrant 1.
He said he would have called it a flagrant run, but he understands the wind up and everything of why it was called a flagrant 2.
Steve.
I know. Hey, the great thing about this, they won. I'm glad that the conversation is not so intense today because, hey, they won the game. So the game itself, quick turnaround for the Grizzlies because they just finished up their series with the Timberwolves on, what was it, Thursday? Or it was Friday, actually. Mm-hmm. Quick turnaround for them, but the Warriors had to travel to Memphis, and I thought that they lacked serious nasty in the first quarter. The old Greg Popovich thing? I need some nasty. They lacked intensity. They lacked, the biggest thing about the Memphis Grizzlies in their, I say always, is that they've always been considered, when they're good, a physical team. Even with the Zebo days, Tony Allen, to now, they are considered a physical, defensive. They shoot a lot of threes, as we saw yesterday.
Right.
But they are a physical team, and I thought that the Grizzlies, and I hate this term in sports, but I'll use it right now. They were out physicaling the Warriors. That's not proper
How
grammar.
does that even, are they out physicaling the Warriors?
Yeah, people say that, but it's like let's not talk like that. They were more
Do
physical than the Warriors. Yeah, I've heard people say that, or maybe it's just me. Um, but yeah, they were more physical than the Warriors in the first quarter, and I think it's kind of a mixed blessing because had Draymond not been ejected from that game, I'm not sure we do win that game because I think it lit a fire under their ass, especially in the third quarter. What are they doing in the third quarter? I think they outscored them. What was it, 36-29, as they do. DEFCON 3 comes through again. They always do great in the third quarter.
DubCon 3, Derek.
DubCon 3. My bad.
Damn it.
Well, let's talk about this. They started off the game with a lineup change. They did go with GP2 guarding Ja Morant. And while Ja Morant did a good job, he made more threes than he did in yesterday's game than he did in the whole series against the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing going forward. I like that. Jordan Poole had his best game coming off the bench, point-wise, 31 points in the playoffs. They got to find a way to stop this Jaren Jackson Jr. guy. 33 points, 6 of 9 from 3. And then, yeah, I mean, the Warriors they looked like the more playoff experienced team.
I disagree. I don't think Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be the one they have to stop. That dude's not going to score like that. Like,
not every game. But that was a pretty good performance. But yes, I agree with you.
It was fantastic. He's an athletic marvel. He's unbelievable. Although his shooting stroke really bothers me. It's like he extends his arm all the way out, and then he lets go of the shot. It looks it's aesthetically displeasing. But the guy that I'm watching out for in this next game, and someone who can get them going, who didn't, is Desmond Bane. That dude is an unbelievable three-point shooter, only going 1 of 5 in this one, with Steph primarily guarding him. But GP2's poster in the first quarter, that kind of like sucked the life out of Desmond Bane, I think. Mentally, that was getting at him. But I think going forward, you can afford to let Jaren Jackson do that. And as a matter of fact, I hope he gets more confidence, along with Ja Morant too, where they're just going to shoot threes. Like, I'm totally okay with that because they're not going to do it at a clip that they were doing that. But Bane is one that I personally think if you're going to look for someone here who it's like, well, they're going to have to figure out a way to stop them. Well, Bane is one I'm thinking you got to figure out a way to continue to stop him and not let him impact the games, because like that Jaren Jackson Jr. game, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen every game.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And they didn't let him really do anything in the fourth quarter. It was really all Ja Morant. And eventually they played some good defense on him. But yeah, man, I'm with you though. Like they are going to Jaren Jackson Jr. They do have their hands full with him, but he's not going to shoot like that again.
No, he's not. The problem is Ja Morant. And even though I like GP2 in the glove lineup, he's going to get his. Ja Morant's a fantastic player. But it's crazy to me that the Warriors probably had their worst game of the playoffs. And the Grizzlies, Ja Morant played a great game. I'm forgetting his name. Jaren Jackson Jr. had a fantastic game. They played A basketball, but they needed to play their A++ basketball, and it just didn't work out. And that's got to be a demoralizing feeling that they got Draymond ejected. Jaren Jackson Jr. had a fantastic game. Ja Morant had a fantastic game, and in the end, it wasn't good enough. And the Warriors, I think they played B+. But honestly, like, that's all they needed, because the experience is just so much better than what a full effort of the Grizzlies have right now, because they're so young that they're going to miss shots. Yeah, no, I'm with you, Steven. Like, they are good defensively, and Desmond Bane is their best three-point shooter. But they're not going to keep shooting threes like that. It's going to turn into a Houston Rockets situation when they start missing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it actually reminded me of Game 5, like we were talking about prior to the series. Game 5 when Kevin Durant went down and the Warriors still found a way to win that one. and then following it up, they won Game 6. That's what it was reminiscent to me of, because it was a fantastic postseason performance. But when I'd say you can classify this when people are already starting to put it as one of the greatest postseason games in Warriors in this dynastic run out of it. And I'm like, maybe as it being a close game, but as far as their performance as a team, certainly not their best.
No.
They weren't clamping them up on defense. They weren't doing any of that. They won it in the beginning of the third quarter, in the beginning of the fourth quarter, when Steph was sitting on the bench, and then Jordan Poole had 7 points, I think. Jordan Poole was fantastic. To me,
amazing.
the time that the ass was lit, so to speak, for the Warriors, the time that it was lit.
What time did that ass get on fire?
With about a minute left in the second quarter. It was after Draymond got ejected, and that's when FedEx Forum is going insane. Brandon Clark misses the 1 of 2 free throws. They go for the alley-oop with Morant, and then Morant hits another shot over Kuminga, and that's where he proceeds to, or was it then, where he proceeds to tell Steph that Jonathan Kuminga can't guard him, and then Steph looked back and said, bet. And like in the closing lineups, Steph gets the block in the fourth quarter. Like, he's been playing some fantastic defense. And then, everything that happened with
playing great defense.
Did you see what happened with the Grizzlies inbound? So you remember, as everyone does, when Jokic is calling for the lob. He's calling for the lob on the other side of the court, saying this pass is gonna go to Wiggins, when Draymond was already fouled out, and it was Otto Porter on the inbounds, and Andre Iguodala already had 5 fouls. He called for the lob. He knew it was coming because he studied their film. Well, Jacob Rubin, who's the player development coach, basically told the team, like, once he saw the alignment, hey, this is what's coming. So he showed them all the tape and says, I expect this play to happen, which was, you got Ja Morant on the other side of the court, 3 of the Grizzlies lined up along the free throw line. Klay Thompson primarily guarding Brandon Clark, and Dillon Brooks and Desmond Bane are on the opposite sides. Kind of looked like Orion's belt. And those 2 guys switch sides, go to the corner. So they stand in the corner waiting for the 3. So they take a couple of defenders out of it. Then Ja Morant just sprints past Gary Payton like a running back, because Payton was face guarding him. And then Klay came off of Clark because he knew that Clark wasn't going to be holding that ball and getting the shot. So he came off Clark and tried to shade Ja Morant to the other side and stops him. It was a very well drawn up play, but the Warriors knew that it was going to happen. So shout out to Jacob Rubin. Pretty cool stories like that, man.
Good job, Jay Rubin. Just real quick, finishing up the game. Yeah, the Warriors played great defense when they needed to. Steph was amazing with 24 points. I see what you're saying now, though, with the free throws. That's becoming an issue. Just because they're not automatic, and you expect them to with Steph. And you do have an argument to be made with Jordan Poole and him taking the tech 3 throws, but I'd still go with Steph. But yeah, it is dicey now, which is something I never thought I would say, but it is what it is.
Hey, man, Andrew Wiggins making the 2 free throws down the stretch. That was huge with 3 minutes left.
Man, because Andrew Wiggins has just been so infuriating to me. I think he's great defensively, and he fits well with the offensive scheme. But, God, offensively, sometimes he just drives me crazy. So I'm glad he sunk those in and was clutch.
Why does he drive you crazy? What was
I think that he definitely serves a purpose on the roster, and I don't want to trade him for Rudy Gobert, whatever that erroneous report is, which wasn't even a report. It was just, I think, Windhorse talking about it on a podcast. Did you see this?
Yeah. A rumor. You have pet bees. I don't want you on my team. That's it.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
Pet bees. Get out of here.
But no, I know Andrew Wiggins just
should be on the Hornets.
I just feel like he could take games over, and he just doesn't. And it doesn't fit well in this offense. But there's some times where, I don't know, like I wanted to be more aggressive offensively, and he doesn't have it.
I don't think that's his job anymore. Like, I think his job is straight up get rebounds. Like, that's it. That was huge yesterday.
Yeah, no, it was.
So I think those free throws with 3 minutes left, though, that showed like
Yeah.
Psychologically, his confidence was there, man. And then he was
Yeah.
going out there and just jumping all over the place and making it tough for the Grizzlies to fight for every rebound. I thought Wiggins was awesome in yesterday's game. So I understand like where you're coming from. You want him to be more aggressive, sure. And
But that's
that's
not
and
his role.
rightfully so. But if he has games like that in crunch time where because he's done that before, going back to what was it, what was that, game 3, where he got the offensive rebound, which led to Jordan Poole with this unbelievable layup. Like, if
Yeah.
Wiggins, like, if he's not aggressive, then okay. But if he does that toward the end of games, then I can live with that.
No, I'm probably just asking too much. It's the same thing when you get frustrated with Harrison Barnes. They're both just unsung heroes in what they do. So I'm probably just being critical.
Well, no. I mean, what you're saying, it's with his contract. I think you have a point because he is one of the top 4 players that are played on this team. You should expect a little more out of him. Maybe I'm being soft, and maybe my expectations are just that low. But that's really what I was thinking.
No, I mean, when we got Andrew Wiggins, I wasn't expecting him to be the Andrew Wiggins from Minnesota that everybody wanted him to be. But I do want him to have a little more intensity in the playoffs. That's it. Just like, I don't know, like just little layups here or there. Like you should make those. But
you think? Did you think that even on those free throws that he's shooting, did you think that he should have made that dunk? Like, because I think that was the one.
Yeah.
Was that the one where he was going up for 2 hands? That was the one. Right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, just little things. But
I remember. I thought Wiggins was about to yam. I was like, let's go Wiggs, and then it didn't happen.
I just want him to play with a little, like, he definitely, like, where's the intensity he had from putting 41 up against the Timberwolves?
Yeah.
He should be playing with that every single game. But they won the game. It's all good.
Yeah.
The thing that I was shocked with and then got me all nervous at the end was Clay's missed free throws. And Clay, we love Clay. He's missed 2 seasons. Coming back, he's playing great. But, man, those were just clankers yesterday. And in the end, they won. And, if Ja Morant gets that layup in, we're like, shit, that's what a demoralizing win. And it, encompasses everything with Draymond being ejected. But it goes our way. But Clay, I don't know, man, like, he's still a little bit in his own head. And it may be just a psychological thing from not playing for 2 seasons, but he rushed those free throws a little bit. And then afterwards, you saw they won the game, and he was on the court verbally saying, I fucking missed those free throws. And Andre grabs him and is just like, let's move on, dude. Let's go to the next game. And that's why this team is so great, because they all have each other's backs. They're all they are just resilient, whether it's them coming together in Houston to beat the Rockets without Kevin Durant, or yesterday without Draymond, their emotional leader, the guy that makes everything flow offensively and defensively. He is, in football terms, he is the quarterback and he is the middle linebacker. Everything goes through Draymond. And the fact that they got that done yesterday was just so impressive and just speaks to what Steph said yesterday, just their championship DNA.
Yeah, I'm with you. But I also don't think that as far as Clay goes, I'm not too worried about I'm not worried about the free throws. I'm just not. He shot 90% from the line throughout the season. He hasn't had that many this year. I do think that's just a bad game. And it did lead to one of my favorite Klay Thompson moments. You're saying that he looked like he was saying, I fucking missed those free throws to Andre. Well, my favorite part was when he went to the other side of the court, went back to that free throw line where he made those misses, and then looks at the crowd and said, fuck them free throws. So like,
and then he went to the locker room and said, bitch ass Memphis.
Yeah. So that defensive play kind of helped them. But yeah, man, I'm not too worried about it. I need a couple more games of Klay Thompson missing free throws for me to officially start to question it. But and Draymond, yeah, I mean, Draymond's the point guard. I don't care what it says. Don't try to think in your head that this team is better without Draymond Green.
No,
just don't try and convince yourself, because they're not. And that's not even subjective. It's objective. Draymond he makes the team better. There's absolutely no doubt.
No doubt that Draymond makes the team better, but they can find ways to win without him. It doesn't need to be a common occurrence, but it was just nice to know that yesterday they could get the job done without him there.
Yeah,
And
like Jordan, like Clay can make another couple of free throws and just bring me out of it, kind of like Jordan Poole did. Like Jordan Poole, I'm not going to lie, these past 2 games, we were wondering, was it a fatigue factor? Did Denver maybe give Memphis something on how to guard him? Like, what's going on here? And it turns out that it looked like it was more of a fatigue thing than anything with how physical they were playing.
Yeah.
I want to see how he does in, games 4 and 5 or whatever, whenever they're done in Chase Center and then they go back to Memphis if it comes to that. So, but I'm not worried about Jordan Poole. I can tell you that.
No, I'm not either. And yeah, Steven, I'm with you, man. Like, I don't want Wiggins going for 40 either when you got those guys on the floor. But there are going to be games where the 3 points don't fall. It's just going to happen. We've seen it where
talking about Stephen Babb, by the way, not me.
I know. Yes, I should clarify.
I'm just letting the viewers know, bro. Come on, we got millions out there.
The billions, as they said on Joe Low and Dibs.
Oh God.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't want Andrew Wiggins going for 40, but there's going to be games like the game they lost in Denver where the threes aren't going to fall. It's going to be a rough game for Steph, or it's going to be a rough game for Clay, or it's even going to be a rough game for Poole. It happens, Steven. We always see it. And we need somebody to take over the game in the post. And that guy could be Andrew Wiggins. That's why I sent out that stupid tweet that one of these games, there will need to be an Andrew Wiggins game. Maybe. Hopefully not, but it could happen. I'm just hoping maybe it happens. Actually, I don't want it to happen because I want those threes to fall all the time, but sometimes they just don't. Like, that's the reason Steph didn't win the MVP in the 2018 finals. He was playing great the first 2 games and then had a horrendous game 3, and Kevin Durant stole it from him.
God, if you need an Andrew Wiggins game, your team is not playing very well.
I don't need an Andrew Wiggins game. I'm just saying that it'd be nice if they're not playing well. But Steven, I think we got the best case scenario yesterday. Draymond gets thrown out. He's visibly pissed off. They win the game. They're up 1-0 in Memphis, and they're coming back, not playing their best basketball, while the Grizzlies thought they played their best basketball, and they didn't have great shooting performances from Dillon Brooks and Desmond Bane. But they're probably going to come out with a lot of intensity. But so will Klay Thompson. He's going to be upset for missing those free throws, and you're going to be damn sure that Draymond's going to come out with a lot of intensity. So I'd say everything's looking pretty good for the Warriors right now. Best case scenario, they won the game without Draymond. They go up 2-0. Then I think this may be a self here because Memphis is a great team, but that was a big time win for the Warriors and a huge loss for the Grizzlies yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not going to be afraid to say that the Warriors are going to sweep if they win game 2. Like, they are just that good at Chase Center to me. Like, even if they play even game 5 wasn't their best game at home, yet they still managed to find a way to win. I don't think
if the crowd wakes up.
What?
If the crowd wakes up. They had problems in game 5.
They did. I'm apparently not going to say anything about the crowd ever again because, good Lord, the onslaught of texts that I got after that on the Xfinity mobile text line, it's just like, oh my God, easy. I just said they were a little more quiet for 6 minutes beginning in the third quarter than I wanted them to be.
That's fair.
Yeah, I know, right? Then that took me as just crapping all over Warriors fans, hating Dub Nation, and it's like, what are you talking about, man?
Stop it. Stop it. Was that Warriors World coming after you?
Yeah, right after some tweet about how Steve Kerr ruined that game yesterday. Dude, like, yeah, if they win this second one in Memphis, I am not afraid to say that they're going to take the next 2 at Chase Center. I think that place is going to be going insane, and the crowd feeds off of it. Like they or not the crowd, the team feeds off of the crowd. I really think Jordan Poole does. So I'm excited, man. Game 2. I can't wait. And there's some hostility there. I mean, I know you got the Suns and Mavs. I'm excited to watch that series tonight, but in the end, it's not like they're going to, they might get physical, but I don't think they have kind of this season long, not rivalry, but it's Memphis trying to take the Warriors' place as the new hot young team up and coming. It's like the Warriors, they beat these teams, they get it past Memphis when they start, and then all of a sudden, they start making more waves in the playoffs. Then they win the championship. Memphis wants to be the new version of the Warriors. So, and they made that known earlier this season, and now it's starting to get a little hostility, a little hostile. I mean, this series, man, I think game 2 is going to be wild.
No, it'll be a lot of fun. The only thing I worry about is I do think there's a possibility that the Grizzlies steal a game at the Chase Center just because they've done it before. They went in last year and beat them in that crucial playing game. People forget when the Warriors, their first playoff run, or the first championship run in 2015, the Grizzlies were up 2-1 against them. And I know that's a different Warriors team and a different Grizzly team, but the Grizzlies have always been kind of like the physical team from the West that kind of kicks the Warriors' ass a little bit. Not on the court, but just like, physicality and everything. So while I do think the Warriors will win this series, I wouldn't just say it's going to be a slam dunk if they win the first 2 games in Memphis. It'll be great going forward, but Memphis is going to keep coming after them, and we'll see what happens in game 2. If they don't win tomorrow, that's going to be huge. I just think yesterday was huge going forward for the whole series, but no, I'm with you, Steven. This is going to be interesting if the Grizzlies can't get it done tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think that like what they were doing at the end of the first half, dancing, when Dylan Brooks hits this 3 or Desmond Bane hits this 3, whatever, doing all this stuff. I just don't think they're going to have the right mindset. And if this series goes back to Chase Center and they're down 2-0, I don't know if they have the mental fortitude to come back and just say, yeah, we can win this series. Like, I just don't think that's going to, I don't think it's going to happen. Although the reason that I thought the Nuggets could get one game was because they had a guy in Jokic who's the MVP, and they had Mike Malone. That's why I thought the Nuggets could at least get one. I didn't think it was going to be a sweep. I do think Memphis can fall into that category of they got a star player who's good enough to, beat you single-handedly, but they also got a really good coach. Taylor Jenkins, I'm a fan of that guy, and he managed to get help this team to a 2 seed even without Ja Morant. Like, people may say, like, oh, the team's better without Ja Morant. No, that's not true. It's not the Ewing theory with this Memphis team because they had a good record without him. A lot of that has to do with coaching. So I do think I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm confident with the sweep. I'm good with that. But I wouldn't be shocked if they did take one game at least from this series just because they got a good coach and they got a star in Ja Morant, and they also got some good other players too. Although Dylan Brooks, good Lord, that dude, he just takes shots whenever he wants.
He does.
I remember watching him going back to Oregon because my buddy's an Oregon fan since he went there. So every time they'd be on in March Madness, I'd be watching Oregon games along with him, and it's like the guy's like Joe Young. They called him Mighty Joe Young. Loved it. Kazemi, who was the other one? Peyton Pritchard, all these guys. And then Dylan Brooks. Like, Dylan Brooks was just constantly just hacking up threes. I remember going back to his time at Oregon. So I remember him very well. And now he's turned into kind of this heel for Memphis. I have a feeling, if you had to guess, Derek, who would be the one scapegoat among Grizzlies fans? Because with the Warriors, normally it's Steve Kerr. Andrew Wiggins can be that guy too. Jordan Poole was actually that guy when Clay came back. Everyone wanted to blame Jordan Poole for their lack of how they were playing with the second unit once Clay started. Who do you think is that guy, though, for Memphis? Would it be Dylan Brooks or maybe JJJ, Jaren Jackson
Jr.? I think the scapegoat if the Grizzlies lose?
Yeah, just the guy that everybody has to blame.
Unfortunately, just because this is society today, I think that everyone on ESPN will say it's Ja Morant not getting the job done because he's the star of the team.
Yeah, I wonder.
By the way, who is defending Desmond Bane? Like, who's on him? It's usually Steph?
Steph was the primary defender on him, yeah.
Steph needs to like. Is anybody doing any Bane references with now that we're playing the Grizzlies?
No, because that movie was out 10 years ago, so we're kind of past it, I think.
Still, Steven, I want Stephen Curry just to be like, oh, you think you could shoot in the dark? I was molded by it.
Oh my god!
Nothing like a
Yeah.
good Bane voice. You know what I mean?
You what?
Nothing like a good Bane voice.
All right, hang on. Let me try mine. I'm gonna.
This better be good.
Bane, smash. I'm Bane.
Was that from the Batman and Robin version? With
Yeah, that's from the George Clooney version. That's not from this new Batman that everyone's going off about. Not this Dark Knight Rises crap. It's all about the George Clooney with nipples Batman.
I do miss George Clooney's Batman just being like, "Hello, freeze. I'm Batman."
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger made me think in that movie. I used to think he was incredibly tall, and then I saw him in the movie, and I'm like, damn, you're kind of short, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, so they approved a sequel for the Batman, and the rumor is that they're trying to do a realistic portrayal of Mr. Freeze, the guy that was frozen in ice and survived and has a heart of ice and freezes people to death. They want to do a realistic interpretation of that.
The realistic interpretation better be you got the realistic interpretation is be you better give him some crappy catchphrases.
Well, or just bring back Arnold.
Huh?
This is the winter of your discontent.
Just like, what are they watching? They're watching the old Frosty the Snowman from those.
I'm Mr. Ice Christmas. I'm
come
Mr.
on,
Snow.
sing. Come on, sing. It's like, what is happening right now?
That's such a good movie. That's such a good movie. And then Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. He has like rubber lips. Sorry, but rubber lips are immune to your touch.
Yeah. Everybody, chill.
All right, Steven. So you were away this weekend. Did you see any of the draft, or did you catch any of the draft selections by the 49ers or the Raiders?
I saw the selections.
What'd you think?
Well, I think Parnham from Tennessee. I'm glad. It looks like the Raiders.
Parnham from Mississippi.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was. Damn it. He actually is from Tennessee because he went to Memphis. Don't know anything. Not gonna act like I watched any Memphis college football in my years, and not gonna act like I watched the interior of their offensive line with a keen eye. But if they think this is their dude, I was actually going back and looking at the starting offensive line for the Patriots, and a lot of their guys were like homegrown from the later mid to late rounds. Like none of them. I think Nate Solder was the first round pick. We looked back at that one, but other than that, a lot of those guys, the 5th round, the 6th round, when you really look at it. Now, granted, were they the greatest offensive line? No, but they got the job done. So I do have some faith there that McDaniels and Ziegler chose the right guy. That running back from Georgia,
Zamir White.
That's an interesting one because they, as we couldn't talk about it, and all the news happened that they declined the options of Jacobs and Abram and Cleveland Ferrell. They at least tried to replace 2 of those players in this draft. I think that this new guy, I think he's going to try and take that starting running back job. And then this new edge rusher,
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, not this year, but after this year.
I mean, that's interesting. We'll see. Me and Alon were talking about it, that we think that out of those 3 guys, the most likely guy to return would be Josh Jacobs. Cleveland Ferrell hasn't shown enough to be, the 4th overall pick and remain on this team. And then Jonathan Abram, funny with the Solomon and Salmon stuff, but just gets hurt way too much and can't really cover. He had a hard time with Darrell Williams in coverage last year. But just to go through the draft picks, Dylan Parnham from Memphis, guard. He might be your starting right guard for the Raiders this upcoming season. Zamir White, you said, from Georgia, running back. Neil Farrell, not Furl, not related to Cleveland, from LSU, defensive tackle. Matthew Butler, defensive tackle from Tennessee. So they're trying to get the big boys some beef on the defensive line. Thayer Munford Jr., offensive tackle from Ohio State. And then the last selection, Britton Brown, another running back. So, Steven, you might be right that they're trying to find a replacement for Josh Jacobs so they don't have to pay the first round money to Josh Jacobs and have a guy like Zamir White who, could be less.
Yeah.
Because you got to pay Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller.
Right. 100%. And I think that if he shows something this year that he can take over as the number one guy, he will. But Jacobs has a year to prove himself. I don't know what he's going to be worth. The injuries scare me with Jacobs. I mean, I still go back to last season when he opened the season up with scoring a touchdown against the Ravens, and he was just limping off the field like Debo in that game in Lambeau against the Packers. Only difference was the Ravens was the start of the season, and the Packers were at the end of the year. So, I don't know. I think it was a good draft. There's only so much speculation I could do here, Derek.
I know.
It was a third-round pick that they had.
I know. And that's all they had, and it's well worth it for Devontae Adams. But was there any positions that you thought they neglected? Because they did address the offensive line. I still think they need. Van Noy comes into play. I keep talking about him. But was there any positions that you thought that are glaring needs that they neglected to do in the draft? Because we still got time with free agency.
Somewhere in the secondary. I do think I was hoping that, like, if you were to give me like a list of, let's just say, because they had the 2 fifths. So if you were to tell me, like, yeah, 3rd, 4th, 2 fifths, and a 6, like, what do you want out of that? I'd say, like, in order, I'd love an offensive lineman in the 3rd round, which they got. And then the 4th round pick, so to speak, I would have loved it that they would have grabbed a corner in that 4th round just to kind of solidify some of the depth there. The secondary always just freaks me out. Like, every game, I've never gone into a game confident in what their secondary can do. Although there were a couple of times last year where that happened. Could change up this year, along with Rocky Yassin and Nate Hobbs and Trayvon Mullen and all of them. So we'll see how that goes. But I'd say someone in the secondary, maybe a safety too.
You almost got your wish, sir, because Nakobe Dean was fallen to the 3rd round, and the Philadelphia Eagles snatched him up just a few picks before the Raiders.
God, I wanted him in the 1st. That's how wrong. See, that's how wrong we all are about drafts. Like, what the hell? This dude's going to be drafted between 20 and 30 in the 1st round. He's a 3rd rounder now.
Yeah, but it was all because people got bad info about him medically.
Right.
That guy lost millions of dollars because people thought that he needed surgery, and he was told he didn't, and he's fine.
Unbelievable.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, agreed. But now Tyrann Mathieu off the market. How about that?
Yeah, Tyrann Mathieu signs with the Saints today for 3 years, and that's a big signing for the Saints. They already have pretty good safeties, but that secondary may be the best in football. So that's a big signing. And we're getting a lot more free agency stuff going on here because now, starting today at 1:00, your free agency selections will not count against your draft picks, compensatory draft picks going forward. So look out for more teams to sign guys. But real quick, going to the 49ers draft selection, they took Drake Jackson, defensive end from USC, with the 61st pick. The Niners have a shit ton of defensive linemen now, pass rushers. So we'll see. They have so many guys. I don't know who's going to make the team right now. D Ford's still on the team. So it'll be interesting to see what the competition is at defensive end. They go with a running back as well, as Kyle Shanahan loves to do. They get Ty Davis Price. I watched a little bit of him, and this guy looks like Elijah Mitchell, just like in a shotgun version. So this is a guy that's right up Kyle Shanahan's alley. And I'd be interested to see, they already have Elijah Mitchell. They have Trey Sermon, who I guess they don't like, or at least don't play. They have Jeff Wilson Jr.
Yeah.
Is that it for running backs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
okay,
Debo.
so and Debo. Yeah. So We'll see. I mean, like, it's interesting that Kyle Shanahan always says, like, yeah, I don't need great players, at running back. Or he doesn't say that, but that's like Phil. They could just draft, or you just find undrafted guys and they'll run for 1,000 yards. But they go through them every year. They want to draft a new running back because even with Trey Lance, they're going to be a running team. And that's where this guy comes into play. When they do throw, they want to go deep. And this is not a Jimmy Garoppolo move. Danny Gray, not Danny Green, Danny Gray from SMU. This is a speed guy, deep ball guy. This is a guy that Trey Lance is going to throw to. So that's an interesting draft pick by them. Who else they get? Spencer Burford, tackle from UTSA. He's a road runner. That's their team, Steven. And this seems like a good old pick to plan for the future with Trent Williams for the long haul if he's there. Samuel Womack, 5th-round pick, cornerback from Toledo. Don't know anything about him. Nick Zakelj, I can't pronounce his name, but he's from Florida. Kalea Davis from Central Florida from defensive line in the 6th round. Terrio Cashford Fields, another defensive back in the 6th round. And then we got some QB competition with old Purdy Bird, Brock Purdy from Ohio State as Mr. Irrelevant in the 7th round.
From Iowa, not Ohio.
From Iowa State. He's a cyclone.
Zackle J.
Whatever his name is. How do you pronounce that shit?
I don't know. But Zackle J is not it.
Zackle J. It's just Zakelj. Zackle J.
I don't know why that made me laugh so hard. I gotta tell you though, man, like the Burford one, you're saying that they're planning for the future. Like, I don't know what,
with either McGlinchey or whatever.
Yeah, man. Like, what is
But he's also a 4th-round pick, so who knows?
Their offensive line is really in question. Like, very much. I think, like, this dude, we never talked about him, or at least, I don't think, at least in my opinion, Niner fans never talked about him, which was how it should be for an offensive lineman. But Laken Tomlinson, finally got the name right. No one also talked about him leaving the team and how much of an impact
it's huge.
had. Like,
it's
that
huge.
Dude was big on the interior. Alex Mack, who knows? Daniel Brunskill's still on the team, if I'm not mistaken, and I actually think that
he is.
I think that Brunskill's one of the more. I think just based off the name, you think, oh, Brunskill not very good, but if you really look back at it, that Brunskill was fantastic.
Oh, dude, he's got an offensive lineman's name, Brunskill.
Yeah, Brunskill. And he against Aaron Donald, not in the NFC Championship, because Aaron Donald ended up taking over at the end of that game. But Brunskill in the first 2 games of the season, against Aaron Donald, he was a big reason why Donald wasn't much of a factor. So I think he's good, but Laken Tomlinson and Alex Mack, if you need to replace them, not that easy to replace. Then Mike McGlinchey, I think it's kind of messed up just to say, like, oh, yeah, he's way too skinny, and I don't know what he's going to look like coming into camp, but he's going to have to bulk up. And
he's got time. He's got time.
And he's got plenty of time to do that. But,
yeah,
it's a question at right tackle, too, and they got that 2nd-rounder, Aaron Banks. I don't know if he's going to play. So I'm very curious to see what happens with that offensive line. But, again, like, these drafts, I never have a problem with the draft until I actually see the production on the field.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, Steven. I was probably 100% wrong. It's sounding like it's leaning towards Alex Mack is going to retire.
Okay.
So
right.
They did not draft a center. So there's J.C. Treader who's out there, free agent. Could be a guy they pick up, but that's something they need to plan for. No, I'm with you, man. Like, I think it's funny that guys like Rich Eisen, who's a huge Jets fan, goes on NFL Network and says, the Jets are back, baby. They killed it with the 3 draft picks in the 1st round. Okay, they look good on paper with Sauce Gardner. And I love, did you see that video of Robert Saleh calling Sauce Gardner, just screaming, Sauce?
No, I didn't.
Scared the hell out of him. Garrett Wilson and Jermaine Johnson all going in the 1st round. They were all, perceived as top draft picks. Looks good on paper, but we don't know. No one knows. So, you know, that's why I hate draft grades because they're so stupid. Who the fuck knows? None of these guys have played. That's why the movie Draft Day is ridiculous because it ends with him drafting those guys and you have no clue if the team's going to be good.
That's a good point. Yeah, we don't know. Did it ruin their cap situation? Did they grab another quarterback and they end up having to pay the quarterback over, what's his name, Mac? What's his name in that movie?
Brian Drew.
No, I'm talking about the guy.
Bo Callahan.
No, the other one, the defensive end that they chose.
Oh, Vontae Mack.
Vontae Mack. Yeah. So, we don't know, but actually, I thought the Jets, like after seeing that first round, and if those guys are as good as advertised, I think the Jets made the right move in not going after Debo and paying him all that money.
Well, did you see what they offered him?
Yeah, what was the offer again?
It was for the 10th overall pick and a pick swap where the Jets would give the Niners a 5th round pick and the 49ers would give the Jets a 2nd round pick. Yeah, that's an even trade.
Yeah. So they got screwed there. But the Jets got out of it for what they were asking for, which was a 1st rounder, then the 2nd rounder, and then possibly Elijah Moore. I think that was a very real offer that was on the table from the 49ers, and that's why it was reported that way. I think something was leaked out there from the 49ers brass saying, like, this is what we want for Debo. And that's why it was reported from NFL.com and all that. I didn't
hear about that. Is that a legitimate thing?
Yeah, the Cynthia Freeland thing.
Well, that's, Cynthia.
Yeah, but I also think that it could have come from the team like, hey, this is what we want.
Well, Cynthia does know the Niners very well, so that could be the case.
So I think that was just out there just to kind of give us a grasp as to what the 49ers would want. And I think that if that was their asking price, then the Jets got away with it. Because like paying Debo all that money, at least for like, I really think both sides ended up good. I think both sides ended up on the right one here. Like, I think this team is great for Debo. I think he's perfect for the 49ers. The fans absolutely adore Debo Samuel. Like, he took over as the face of the Niners this year. It wasn't Jimmy Garoppolo. The quarterback's your de facto face of the team, but it was Debo Samuel. And if he would have gone to the Jets, I just don't think it would have worked over there with the Jets. So in my opinion, I think both parties ended up doing the right thing here, because I don't think the 49ers want to trade Debo either. That's what gets lost in all of it. I got called, and this is, I'm not going to lie, Derek, this gets me. This bothers me. And I'm a professional, okay? And I understand that I'm a Raider fan and I have a Raider podcast, but I try and give as unbiased and as my real opinion on what's going on with the Niners, and just saying that, hey, I think the Jets did right in not trading for Debo because of all those picks. I got told that I'm a Debo hater. I'm a 49er hater. You could tell Langford is a Raider fan. And I'm like, dude, get out of here. I am giving you the real here. The 49ers need Debo next season. I don't think they could just carry on without Debo. So I think for both parties, it worked out.
Steven,
I get so frustrated, dude.
No, man, I'm with you, because anytime I tried to have an opinion about the 49ers as well, people come to me and go, oh, Derek's just a Niner hater, an old Raider guy. I know what I'm talking about, okay? I know what I'm talking about. And at the same time, why is that a ridiculous opinion? The Niners don't want to trade Debo. Why do Niner fans want to trade Debo? You have the same opinion as my father, the voice of the Niners. He's not a Niner hater. It's ridiculous.
It's just, it got me, man. It got me because, and if anyone would have listened to the damn show last year, which they were actually, shout out to the 5 a.m. crowd. Doesn't count against the ratings at the 6 a.m.
Early time to listen. Jesus.
Hey, man, 6 to 6 is when the ratings count, but them ratings are booming from 5 to 6. But that's that. But that's not for my Niner takes. That's because of Doghouse and just my timely comedic jokes. Just I don't even need to go on about what makes me so good.
What's this Doghouse?
The Doghouse? Oh, that's fun. That's a fun little segment. Kyle Shanahan has his own doghouse, right? Like, he puts Ayuk, Pettis in the doghouse because they did something that he didn't like. But you know what? I have my own doghouse now. So anyone from the world of sports in the week that bothers me, they got put in the doghouse.
I like that.
Yeah.
Who went in the doghouse last week?
Yankee fans, Dave Cavill, and oh God, who was the other one? I only had like 3. Oh, Ben Simmons, I think, went in there.
Nice. Did you
Yeah.
give him water? Are they giving any food in the doghouse, or it's just like lights out?
No, but I have this ongoing joke that Machine Gun Kelly and Conor McGregor are still fighting back there because you have a chance to get yourself in. You get yourself out of the doghouse. You have a chance, but yeah, Machine Gun Kelly and Conor McGregor, they're still in the back fighting because in my first iteration of the doghouse, that's when they both fought at the MTV Movie Awards or whatever awards show that they both got into it at.
Got it.
So I said, Machine Gun Kelly, you shouldn't be calling out McGregor like that. And I'm like, McGregor, don't let a guy like Machine Gun Kelly get to you. So, there you go.
All right, doghouse.
Don't worry, Bab. I'm not putting any of the listeners in the doghouse. Don't trip. It's all good. Don't do that. Just people from sports that aren't going to listen.
Yeah. So
that aren't going to hear it.
So what do you think now? So we saw on draft night that Debo wasn't traded, but AJ Brown was traded to the Eagles, and Marquise Brown was traded to the Cardinals.
That was wild, man.
And good thing they did because DeAndre Hopkins has been suspended for the first 6 games of the season for PED use. So it sounded like that dude was trying to come back from injury last year, doing everything he can, and now it's backfiring in his face. And you would have to think they knew about this when they made the trade for Marquise Brown. That's probably why they did this. And I think it's a good move for the Cardinals with Kyler Murray, but they have Marquise Brown, AJ Green, and Rondale Moore for the first 6 games of the season. So that's a big loss. The Niners better hope they play the Cardinals pretty early in the season.
Or you could think that it's just a 6-game break for DeAndre Hopkins and you're saving him from getting injured the last 6 games of the season, kind of like what happened last year. So you could look at it that way. I mean, if they go 4-2, in the first 6 games, I think Cardinals fans would be willing to accept that. So
yeah,
that's going to be fascinating, man. I thought the Hollywood Brown trade was fantastic. I think that dude needs a new change of scenery. That Ravens offense, it's not going to work with wide receivers. If you're a number 1 guy or a number 2 guy and you're the number 1, it's just not going to work that way. That's not how their offenses ran. I had a little issue though. I'm not going to lie. This got to me, man. I understand how we all feel with free agents and these guys deleting all their social media, scrubbing all their social media just so they can stick it to their team and say, hey, I'm going to take you guys off. Right? Exactly. I understand all of that, but I do get frustrated by it. What I don't understand is a guy like, and it's not just Lamar Jackson, it's any time a player does this, but when I saw Lamar Jackson retweeting, what the fucking fuck? And then him also following it up with a WTF after the Ravens drafted their center. Dude, this dude's about to be your center. And you're really saying WTF to the draft pick?
I think he then clarified as saying, I'm not saying it about the center. I'm saying it about Marquise Brown being traded.
Okay, Yeah, and I mentioned that on the show. Actually, I put Lamar Jackson in the doghouse for that. I was like, dude, you're in the doghouse. You're going to be tweeting out your emotions there. But at the same time, if he was tweeting out about Brown, fine. But then they reported that Brown was out for the 2021 season, or after the 2021 year, he said hey, I don't want to be here anymore. I request a trade. So
it wasn't anything new. He said he even voiced it to Lamar, this offense doesn't fit me.
So it's dude, just and it's not just Jackson. I'm not trying to single out Jackson here, but he was the guy this season.
Everybody on the Titans.
Because this happens every year. But it's just dude, what the hell? And the other thing, with the A.J. Brown trade, we can parse through it, but Mike Vrabel being visibly pissed that they traded A.J. Brown, him going to the media, Rich Eisen show saying, as long as I'm coach, A.J. Brown is still going to be here, and clearly not having it happen. I mean, you want to talk about the movie Draft Day. Mike Vrabel was Dennis Leary in this situation. But
I can't coach this team, Sonny.
But to me, that's how a coach is supposed to react when their player is going to be traded.
But he knew too. That thing was in the works for days.
I know, but still, like,
And then they got Treylon Burks, who's going to be the same type of player. Not
just
as
makes
good
you-
as
it
A.J.
just-
Brown.
it just makes you think about what goes on with Debo and the 49ers. The fact
It makes
that
you think
there wasn't
maybe
anything done
guys-
that.
What?
That there wasn't anything done there. That's really for the past few weeks.
Yeah.
It's just been one press conference where a disheveled John Lynch goes up there and dances around questions about Debo's trades and politics his way through that thing. Like, I don't know, man. I just saw what happened with the Titans. I'm like, that should be what happens when, coaches and GMs really want their wide receiver back.
Yes, but it also makes you think that Mike Vrabel shouldn't also be going on the Rich Eisen show and saying that stuff.
Maybe.
Because anything could happen. Anything could happen in
True.
this league.
True.
So what happens now with Debo? Because now we have to deal with this shit all off season. Baker Mayfield was so close to getting traded to the Carolina Panthers, and it didn't happen. And thanks to Steve Smith going on Twitter saying, "No, don't do this." And no surprise, Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't traded either. So now this is going to go on and on and on and on and on and on. And I don't know. I mean, Debo, I cannot. There has to be a way for them to mend fences at this point. For him, they will give him a contract. They probably will give him the same contract that A.J. Brown got, and they can afford it, given that their quarterback is not making a lot of money. The Baker Mayfield thing, I don't know. Seattle going to go for him at this point? I mean, he's got to. The whole thing is that whoever trades for him has got to take a chunk of his salary, and there's just some teams that are not willing to do that. And then Jimmy, he just got to, get his arm healthy. But then there's not places for these guys to go to. So this is going to go on the whole offseason. It's kind of pissing me off.
Debo's going to get franchise tagged, right?
I would say that by training camp, we should have a resolution with that. If either it's Debo getting a contract or Debo being forced to go to training camp because he's losing money every day, I can't see them trading him before the trade deadline this season because it will do them no good. If it's where you're not going to do, if it's where he's just being detrimental to the team and not willing to cooperate, and it's, Trey Lance is not progressing with him, then they may have to make a move at the deadline.
Wow. But they can tag him, right?
They can, but then it turns into a shitstorm.
I think that's what's going to happen.
But the Packers could have just tagged Devontae Adams.
They did.
Yeah, he wanted to go.
Yeah. Whew. 25 mil. That's the base. 25 mil and 57 guaranteed. That's the baseline there. Yeah, and they're all about their guaranteed money. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. They didn't draft a wide receiver. I think that says something.
What Stephen Babb's trying to be like Odell here and spread phony news.
Yeah.
Breaking news: Mike Vrabel traded straight up for Debo. Yeah, nice one. You see that over the weekend? Odell just like trying to spread phony reports that Debo Samuel's getting traded to the Patriots.
What the hell was that?
I don't know. It seems like Odell is bored and he's waiting for the Rams to give him a real deal. So he's just sitting at home with his torn ACL, just being like, "Why is no one noticing me?"
Seriously. I mean, I don't know. Isn't he at like the Met Gala tonight or something?
I don't know. Who cares?
This Heat Sixers game is heating up in Miami.
That's going on right now with no Joel Embiid. He's got an orbital fracture, and he may have to don a mask in the next games if he plays in the series. He also got hockey playoffs, baby.
Hell yeah!
You
hockey
care
playoffs
about
great.
I love hockey playoffs, man.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
I'm looking forward to this Tampa Bay Lightning Maple Leafs series because the Maple Leafs haven't won a series in quite some time, and the Lightning are back-to-back champions, but they're not as good as they've been in a couple years. Or last year.
Listen to you. Talking a little hockey.
I got a Canadian roommate who watches hockey, so.
Oh, nice. You've been watching a lot of the Maple Leafs or what?
No, I haven't watched a lot of the regular season, but I do literally have hockey on right now. I got one TV with I got one treadmill and one TV going with the basketball playoffs, and I got one treadmill and TV going with the hockey playoffs.
Can you get rid of one of those treadmills, please?
Believe me, sir. Believe me, sir. The second treadmill will be gone soon.
Okay,
I can guarantee you.
So the first one is sticking with you no matter where you go. It's like Kenny Powers and his jet ski.
I actually just finished Eastbound and Down last night.
Nice. Stevie
good show.
Janowski.
Yeah, Steven. The way his face changes throughout the seasons, they give him like new styles. Like, he gets like a chin change and like his eyes changed. It's just hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Steven, you and I picked the first round of the NBA playoffs, and it is over.
Shit. What was that?
So let's
What
review
did we
these.
pick? Oh boy.
So the way I graded this was we got a point for every team we got right that won the series, and a point for every, like, how close we were for how many games we thought they were going to win it. I subtracted numbers if we were off in what we thought was the amount of games it was going to be. Catch my drift?
Yes.
Okay.
I got
So just going through this. For Warriors and Nuggets, I said Warriors in 6. You said Warriors in 5. So you were right on the money.
boom.
I get -1 on that. I said for Suns, Pelicans, I said Suns in 5. I was off 1. You said Suns would sweep, so you were off 2.
Suns in 4.
Yeah, I know. Bucks 1 in 5. You got that. I said Bucks would win in 4, so I was off 1 with that. We both were completely off 0 points with Nets and Celtics. Celtics 1 in 4. You said the Heat would sweep the Hawks. I said the Heat would win in 5, and they did win in 5. Then the 76ers 1 in 6. I said the Sixers win in 6. I got that right. You said Sixers win in 5, -1. I said Grizzlies would win in 7. I was off 1. You said Grizzlies in 7, off 1. And both of us were wrong with the Jazz winning in 5. So in total, Steven, I win 4-3.
So what does that mean?
Next podcast, just drip hot sauce on your tongue 3 times.
All right, fine.
But real quick, let's
Want me to
do
do it now. I will do it now. Just get it out the way.
Now let's do it next podcast.
All right.
All right, here we go. Next edition of Wins or Wangs in the second round of the NBA playoffs. Oh, yes. All right, so we got the beginning yesterday with Warriors and Grizzlies. Ooh, we got some music now. All right, Steven. So we already know who won the first game of the series. Warriors are up, but we both were going to pick the Warriors to win the series, I believe. I'm going to say Warriors win this series in 5. What do you say, sir?
Yeah, I'll keep it safe. Warriors in 5.
All right, then. Then we got the Bucks and Celtics. The Bucks haven't lost the game since Chris Middleton went down with an injury. It's been really impressive, and Giannis was just a force against the Celtics. I thought the Celtics were going to win this series prior to yesterday, and I'm still going to go with that. I'm going to say the Celtics win this series in 7.
Okay. I think Bucks in 6.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Then we got the game that's going on right now. As we speak, the Heat are beating the Joel Embiid-less 76ers 50-45. I'm taking the Heat to win this series in 7 as well.
Yeah, you think so? I'm actually going to take the Sixers in 7. I think Joel
Even without
Embiid's-
Embiid?
Yeah, I think Embiid's going to come back with a vengeance, and they're eventually going to win the series in 7. That's what I think is going to happen.
I like it a lot. And then we got the
Sixers in 7.
Mavs. I like the okay. And then we got the Mavs and Suns.
Suns and Mavs. I'm thinking. I'm thinking Suns in 5. Let's do it.
I'm taking Suns in 5 as well. So there we go.
How many different? Yeah.
I'll go back and listen. I forget already.
All right. Sweet.
I'm sure Steven or Ernie are keeping track.
Yeah, probably. They know me better than I do. It's scary.
Before we get out of here, Steven, I want to talk about this real quick.
What?
I went to going around LA right now. There is a big comedy festival. Netflix is a Joke comedy festival. And it was fun. A lot of people are performing. Larry David's actually performing tonight. Not performing, like a sit-down interview. This is the thing he canceled the HBO special for. just like a sit down thing that he did live in front of an audience. It's around somewhere over here in LA. Seth Rogen did something last night. I think John Mulaney's performing at the Forum later this week. I, however, got to go see Dave Chappelle at the Hollywood Bowl this past Saturday night. And it wasn't just Dave. It was him and a couple friends, as he said. I'm not a huge fan of this guy, but the roast master, Jeff Ross, hosted it. Yeah. He's a little much sometimes.
You don't like him, huh?
I mean, some of his stuff's kind of a little too much, but I mean, he's a comedian. He's funny for the most part.
Yeah, apparently everything is a fucking roast, people. You need to calm down. It's like, dude, you made the most effed up joke ever. Like, you know? But anyway.
Yeah, basically.
I'm a general.
Jon Stewart showed up. Not announced. It was awesome. He did a lot of good stuff. Do you know the comedian Jimmy Carr?
Yeah, the British.
Yeah, he came out. He solid. I remember him from back in the day. He did a lot of. He used to do a lot of. Remember when Comedy Central used to do like Comedy Central Presents, like stand-up specials. Those were fantastic. I guess they're all on Netflix now. Michael Che. No new SNL this week, so Michael Che performed a little bit before Chappelle came out, and I don't think he had a lot of stuff written because he kind of just like mumbled through his set, and then he goes, "Yeah, they're telling me to come off. All right, here we go. Here's Dave."
Did Jimmy Carr do his laugh by any chance?
He did. He did his. Yes.
Yeah,
it was perfect.
He hosts everything in England. It's insane.
Yeah, every game show.
Yeah.
Oh. And then the weirdest thing was between Jon Stewart and Michael Che performing was a musical performance by none other than D'Angelo, the R&B singer.
Wow.
And he rocked the house, dude. He's playing guitar. He sang this song that was just motherfucker over and over and over again. And it was awesome. And this was the craziest part. He was performing with, I'm pretty sure, on drums, Questlove, but no one acknowledged that it was Questlove.
Well, how'd you know it was Questlove? Just based on the drumming?
Because they would put him on the camera. They would put him on camera, and I'm pretty damn sure it was Questlove. But no one said anything that, and we got Questlove on guitar. It made a lot of sense because Questlove is a huge Dave Chappelle guy.
Right.
I thought that it was Questlove, but no one gave me confirmation that it was Questlove. Pretty sure it was.
So they showed him on camera.
They showed him, yeah. They went back to him drumming, and yeah, big fro and everything. Like it looked like Questlove.
Interesting.
Oscar winning. What's that?
I tell you, I watched Summer of Soul.
Oh, did you see it?
Yeah.
Good movie. Haven't watched the whole thing yet.
Oh, it's fantastic. Oh yeah.
Need to make time. Yeah, I was like Oscar-winning director Questlove not getting any love with saying it's him.
You were on a quest for love.
For love. Beat you to it. And then there was Dave. And let me just say real quick, I know that he's not the most popular guy right now. And he says some things that I'm not a fan of lately. But I do think that he is probably the best comedian of my lifetime. And it was just awesome to see him. I'm not going to give any way of the jokes because what I think I saw is going to be his next Netflix special. There was a lot of production involved. He came out to music, and in the background there was a title called The Lunatics Manifesto. So I think that's going to be the title of his next Netflix special. I'm not going to give anything away, he said, but he did bring up Will Smith and Chris Rock. And it was actually surprising what he said, but I'm not going to give it away. Because I was told not to. When you go to a Dave Chappelle show now, they want you to seal your phone in a not like a Ziploc bag. Like I thought it was. So when we got there, I heard that you had to do that. But I didn't know that like they lock it. Like you have to put your phone in a bag. But I didn't know that the bag was locked. So I'm sitting there with my buddy, and I go, so are we just operating on the honor policy that no one's going to take this phone out of their bag? And he goes, no, dude. What are you, stupid? They lock the bag. Like, you can't get to your phone right now if you tried. I'm like, that's bullshit. I could try. And they lock the bag. So like thousands and thousands of people all lined up at the end of the concert, just being like, "Can you untie my phone, please?"
It sounds exactly like you. That's bullshit. I could get my
This is
phone
what
right
we-
now.
The honor policy here. I'm going to bring my phone out and tweet this whole lineup.
I think Jack White does the same thing.
That makes sense.
I think so. Where you lock up the phones because they hate people taking photos and videos, and they want them to be in the moment with their performance. But it was cool though. It was good.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle good.
Oh, he was great.
Good.
Spent 3 minutes on what he spoke about in the last special, and I was like, all right, I don't want this to be the whole damn thing.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, is what it is. Anyway, sir. Oh, real quick before we get out of here, it is May. It's gonna be May, and I'm so glad that this is back. I want to promote this on the podcast if you want to, Steven. You're gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. Greek Fest coming May 20th through the 22nd. You're gonna be there, right? Don't give me that look. We're waiting for this goddamn thing for 3 years now.
You've been waiting for this damn thing for 3 years now. You bring
come
this up
on.
every single time we talk.
Yeah, because it's Anna's thing. That's how we all became friends.
I know, but I hope to make it. But on the Saturday, I'm going to be busy. Friday, we'll see. I think the Friday is going to be the day. But hey, man, the Greek Fest is a lot of fun though, and the lamb sandwich and the Loukoumades and the spanakopita and the what's the cheese called?
Oh,
The flaming cheese with the sausage.
yeah. We'll get Anna on again before the Greek Fest to
And
promote more.
then a gyro. Oh,
And
yeah.
then dancing, because we love to
And
dance at the
then-
Greek Fest.
And then dancing, where you go out there and you start bobbing your head in a very maniacal way.
Oh, yeah, baby.
It's,
time
yeah,
to
it
dance.
gets really weird. And I'm just sitting on the side drinking a lot of wine.
What are you doing Saturday?
It is my nephew's and niece's birthday party.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll probably be there all weekend, and you guys should be there too if you're listening or watching. Greek Fest in Oakland, May 20th through the 22nd. Get your tickets. It's great. It's a great time. Steven will be there one day. I may be there all weekend. Hope to see you there.
Yeah, I'll see if I can make it like at night. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure how long
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. It's always a great time with the Greek Fest.
It is, but I do like to get there all day. Like I
All
do
day.
like to make it an all day thing. And if I just
Well,
get there at night, that'd stink. But I can make it at night, I guess, can I?
Yeah, you'll be fine. We'll figure it out. We usually do our thing where we meet up at the Tempest in Oakland, and then we head over.
There's certainly going to be a game on, and you are going to turn the sound on.
That's my thing. If the Warriors are playing in the Western Conference Finals, Anna, you gotta turn the sound on.
Yeah.
Turn the sound on. I don't want to hear that Greek music right now.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, everybody, we'll promote it throughout the month of May, and we hope to see you there. And we'll be back on Wednesday. We'll be back on Wednesday to review the Warriors game 2. Steven, say what you always say, my friend.
And that is just our opinion.